Welcome to another episode of What is Hashimoto's with Dr. Martin Rutherford. To find out more on any of our topics, or for information on scheduling a consultation with Dr. Rutherford, please visit us at whatishashimotos.com. And now, here's Dr. Rutherford.
So, today we're going to talk about Hashimoto's and gluten. And that was really one of the first things that we understood as functional medicine practitioners in the early days was a problem. We didn't completely know exactly why at that point in time. This was before anybody heard of gluten. This is when you told somebody to get off of a gluten or get onto a gluten-free diet. And first they would look at you and go, what's gluten? And second, when you told them what it was, they would ask you if you were crazy because it's all the fun food. So gluten is actually technically can be one of the causes of Hashimoto's. Hashimoto's can be triggered by a number of things. And I've had people in some of these questions ask me what causes Hashimoto's. And technically, here's how it works. Gluten is a trashy carb. So first of all, it screws up your blood sugar. It is modified, it's genetically modified. So as you know, gluten, or if you don't know, gluten is a very sticky protein. That's why they use it to make bread and stick breads together and those wonderful pizza crusts that I can't eat. And stick those things together, and cakes and sauces and soups, and it's in non-gluten free soy sauces and stuff like that. So it's sticky. So, and the protein has become larger and stickier as time has gone on. So when we eat it, our stomachs and our pancreatic enzymes don't break it down very well. It's not like the wheat. It's not like our grandmother's wheat, okay? Or even my mother's wheat. It's a whole different animal. So when it doesn't break down on the inside of your intestines, there's this thing that most of you now probably know 70% of your immune system is on the inside of your intestines. Okay. So there are different aspects of the immune system there. One is when something comes in the intestines and doesn't look like it belongs there, there are these other cells that come out like this and they actually look like little octopuses. And they come out and they put their little tentacles on that undigested protein and they go like, well, it's not virus, it's not bacteria, but it doesn't belong here. So it literally grabs it and then it presents it. They're called antigen, virus, bacteria, gluten now are antigens, things that want to hurt you. They take that and they take it over and they present it to these cells that decide whether they're going to attack it or not. They're called CD4 cells, but they're your immune system. That's the immune system that tries to keep you healthy by making sure that nothing's going in here that's going to make you sick. And when they look at that, they go, man, that doesn't belong here. And they attack it. Now, when they attack that, they create an inflammatory response. That's what happens. Like when you get a virus and the fever is an inflammatory response when it's attacking it. So these cells say, you know what, we're going to attack you. There's an inflammatory response. And then what happens is that inflammatory response will let the thyroid know that there's something down here that looks exactly like the thyroid, and I'm attacking it, and so I'm going to attack the thyroid too. How could it possibly look exactly like the thyroid? One more thing about the gluten protein, it's not just thick, it's not just trashy carb that screws up your blood sugar, it's not just undigestible, but it has metabolites on it. These little chemicals on it that look exactly like metabolites on the thyroid. It's very weird. This is a food. This is an endocrine gland, but that's how it is. This is a very, very key player in autoimmunity. It's called molecular mimicry. So there's molecules on here that are mimicking molecules on your thyroid. This gets attacked. This gets attacked. You create inflammation. The attack and the inflammation flare up your immune system. Your immune system looks around and goes, whoa, wait a minute, there's another tissue over here that looks exactly like this gluten protein. Let's attack that. And that's why I think it's fair to say that gluten is one of the causes of Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So it's a very close relationship. And you can extend that relationship out to your cerebellum, because there's a part of your brain right here that if you suddenly start, if you're experiencing eating gluten, having thyroid symptoms, and then getting dizziness, vertigo, bounce, lightheaded, stiff neck, blurred vision at the same time, and going like, what the heck's going on? Your cerebellum also has metabolites that look exactly like metabolites on your thyroid, that look exactly like metabolites on the gluten protein. Pretty weird. Nerve tissue, endocrine tissue, a crappy piece of genetically modified food. And this is a big part of this molecular mimicry of what's happening throughout our body in different autoimmunities. But that is the connection between gluten and Hashimoto's. The first thing we ever did when we learned about all this stuff is the kind of like the first functional practitioner took people off of gluten. And a lot of people was like, they were miraculously better. And everybody told them what lunatics they were and how could just not eating bread make you feel better. And that's how it works. So gluten and Hashimoto's, that's the connection. It's pretty wild.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of What is Hashimoto's? To find out more on any of our topics, or for information on scheduling a consultation with Dr. Rutherford, please visit us at whatishashimotos.com.